All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you like these channels. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. I put a throwback video from 2020, 4 years ago, talking about that limit down day. That's on our YouTube channel. It was an Instagram live. 4 years, so quickly it passes. But either way, what you're staring in front of you here, what you see in front of you, excuse me, is our Discord server. This is the way to get access to our server, the Discord server, so you can get all the news and information, freebies as well. You can see that we did an XLE freebie long, the June 2190 calls. It was also posted on the blog. Looking to take profits on those, on crude oil. So crude oil longs, energy stocks, stuff like that ahead of the Fed. I think it's a good time to start pulling back some risk there. That's why I let everyone know. So again, if you want these kind of notes and information, first, make sure to join the live market blog. 1,700 traders on our server. Let's bump that up to 2,000. What do you guys say? In order to do so, it is free. Go on our website, www.gar.capital. Scroll down a bit for me. Oops, nope. Access our Discord, and then you scroll down a little bit. Pass our paid services here, click on free plan, and you will get access to our live Discord server. All right, let's get to the markets, right? Let's do it. All right, Dow futures are down 57 points. NASDAQ is up 25 today. S&P 500 futures relatively flat, but near all-time highs of 52.53. Dollar index, quarter of a point up 104.10. Volatility index, 1415, up 2.39%. Russell's down 0.28%. 10-year treasury yields are down 4.285%. Crude oil, like I said, pulling back. So is gasoline. We're going to talk about that right now. Let's go to crude oil. And again, I've been talking about energy stocks and financials and energy stocks have done great. We're near some resistance here, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here, now we got to start taking some profits on our energy long positions, especially ahead of Fed Chair Powell today. He will be speaking at 2:30 p.m. The expectation is no rate hike. Nothing. No rate hike, no rate cut, no action. No rate hike. I hope so, because I'm a stock market bull. But with that being said, again, I expect the dollar to be affected somehow, some way, and you'll get crude oil pulling back just a smidge from a nice bounce, really, from the start of the year. It's done very well. We're not yet at a golden cross. We're still at a death cross. Death cross meaning the 200-day is above the 50-day. So crude oil still has a bit of a downtrend, yes. 85 being kind of the major resistance so far, but we're getting to a point now where we usually reject. So again, I really believe it's prudent to take your profits on XLE, which we had the 90 calls. Again, if you're holding, most of them closed. This is our resistance here right around 93.50 or so, maybe 94. Got a gap to fill at 89.28. Let's book the profits. Again, we could possibly break out. Sure, we'll see if we do. I got an alert, but again, I think it's a good time to start taking those profits. And it was a beautiful telegraphed move. Downward trend, break out, break above, downward trend, break above, downward trend, break above. And what are we going to do next? Downward trend. So maybe we can start shorting energy. Ooh, maybe. XOM, this was for masterclass. Now, XOM has a little more room. And again, this was part of the watch list. 115 is the gap fill. We can still get there. Absolutely. But for masterclass guys who have XOM, I still have it too. I'm closing today. It's time to get out, take our profits. We'll wait for Powell, see what happens, see the reaction, and then we'll look at energy one more time and see if XOM gets us that gap fill. But I'll leave a runner because it's, I believe, for June. So I got a little bit of time. So that's really what stood out to me today in terms of kind of getting that message out. Gold futures, been holding this. Still downward trend on gold. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. And you can see just holding on pretty strongly to that downside. Below the 20, below the 50. When he sliced the 50, that's a short-term kind of death cross, but not really. But we still got some downward moves. So it looks like with gold and crude oil that we're going to get some dollar strength. That's what it indicates. Now, that may change. So maybe we're going to get, what is that, higher for longer from the Fed possibly? Got some resistance here right around 104.27. If that breaks, 104.99 is possibly next. What does that mean for stocks? Well, not much. It's been pretty solid. You can see, again, near all-time highs, still stuck within this beautiful green channel. Go to the 1 hour, you can see we're within the yellow channel, and we're right into the midpoint. So a lot of choppiness, not much to do there. Near all-time highs, like I stated before. NASDAQ is the one that still needs to play ball. They're not at near all-time highs. Still need about 18,376 to break. Then you can start targeting all-time highs. And you can see kind of that wedge formation that we had, the purple lines, and we broke below it. Oh, let me see if I can get this over. Yeah. See that wedge breakdown? But again, this right here looked like a bear trap because you had this support of this beautiful structured channel. So a nice bounce, sure. We should be able to get to, if anything, right around 18.4 being our first resistance. If we break above, then we can play all-time highs and above to 679, and you're back to the top end of that wedge, and more likely you could probably play the fade since it's just choppy, slow melting up. I know, tons of stuff going on. In terms of Fed Chair Powell, again, I don't expect really anything new to be discussed. No rate hikes, no rate cuts, just what it is, just holding. I think the one thing that might trigger the market will be higher for longer. Goldman Sachs and traders are already pricing in June cuts. That's kind of where I think it's going to happen if we do. But don't discount the fact that we may, have to wait a little longer for a cut if we get one at all. I'm still in the camp that we don't need a rate cut, but that's just me. I'd rather save the ammo for when things get really messed up, and it will, as always. These are cycles, guys. Pick your depression, pick your pullback, pick your bear market, you name it, whatever you want. It's economic cycles. We'll just pick our excuse then, whenever that may happen. Right now, it doesn't look like it'll happen anytime soon. My theory will be 2027. That's what I'm looking at for the next, can't say crash, but really major pullback, let's just say. 10-year Treasury yields hitting that resistance. I tweeted about this, I believe, yesterday. Make or break. We're going to need to move here. So again, if this goes higher, yields, expect equity stocks to pull back. If this pulls back, then stocks are going to go higher. So what stocks am I looking at to get more of a bid today? Let's start with Apple. Above 177.80. Again, 177 being right here, that support. This is a name that has been beaten down lately. Looks like it's creating a base. We talked about this right around 170. If we can get above 180, then we're really cooking. We got a gap to fill at 186.71. Again, support is holding. Again, this could be changing anytime soon. After Powell, we will see. But we'll go from there. Let's see. I had another one. Tesla. Remember we talked about Tesla? But that little bit of a bounce, that 160 buy area. We still have that gap fill here at 185.96. So again, if we get a little love from Powell today, maybe a little more dovish than expected, meaning that rate cuts will be in June or sooner, fingers crossed in May, doubt it. But we'll see the reaction. Again, news is news, guys, at the end of the day. It's really just the perspective and the reaction. So it's kind of hard to bet on people's reactions. So kind of keep the risk in check, buying that time, being prudent. We'll see what's happening. We'll see what's going to happen next. Let's answer some questions. mRNA from Gustavo. All right. I got an alert here above 115.57. That's the breakout level. Yeah. Gustavo, you may need to wait for that level. If you're playing calls, which I'm assuming you are, still a death cross, 50 below the 200. But this is your level to break. Did my thing go off? Oh, here we go. 9 days, green days in a row for Fed days. Nice. That's a good stat. Tesla calls. In terms of signals, I'm not, but I am long Tesla with Masterclass. So we do have those calls. But as of right now, possible inverse head and shoulders, maybe. Gap to fill at 186.55. Really just need to stay above 160. That's our base for now. 10 today, I think so. Higher? Yeah. I mean, it's setting up that commodities are going to pull back, though. So I don't know. We will see. I mean, we had 2 green days back to back today. Lulu earnings tomorrow. Last 2 days, excuse me. Lulu earnings tomorrow. Any way to know where it could head off earnings? Okay. We will do our best to give a good hypothesis, an educated guess, or at least educated in some way. Got some just ping ponging, man. You're not doing anything here. You need to break the old all-time highs of 485.14 before you do anything. if we're seeing a little bit more upside. Look at this, just consolidation. My opinion, I think Lulu goes higher to 485.14. Let's see, but I wouldn't trade on it. I don't want to trade earnings, especially Lulu, because there's not a lot of volume on it anyways. If I'm going to trade earnings, it's going to be somewhat a lot of volume, if that. Google update. Yes, we are still within this gap fill. Let's take a look here on the 4-hour chart. Looking good, still within this channel as well. We still have that gap to fill, 15294. Downside risk is 144.80. Good news, we have time. And again, we're just looking for more upside. Just got wicked out here, but I expect Google to bounce and to go higher as we're just really just within this channel again. And this has happened before. You could see right back in October, broke below that channel, then bounced a little bit, got that shot higher. It's just been slowly melting up like the S&P. Good morning. Good morning. SPY hitting 520. Definitely possible. Sure. Again, if Powell starts giving us some love, talking about rate cuts in May or something like that, or we're going to stick to June, yes, 520 is definitely in the cards. Why 2027 for a crash? Well, just for the fact that, again, play on numbers, 1987. I've used the analogy regarding the 1980s since 2022. I said a lot of things are very similar. Old man in the White House, Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm being facetious. But it was very similar in terms of economic happenings, the situation. New president beating an incumbent in 1980. And then you had the double dip recession in 1981, 82. And then we had the roar from 82 to 87. It's a lot of it, again, with businesses and stock market. It's really all about cycles. It's very all about patterns. 1987 was the last crash in that time in the 80s. 2007. Again, don't take that to the bank. Again, that's just kind of my weird view, kind of numerology view on the market. But again, though, if you research a little bit, guys, over the weekend, if you guys have time, if you're into it, look at the monetary policy and look at the economic data from 1980 to 1987, the Reagan administration, basically, and compare it to now. It's very similar stuff, guys. I mean, history doesn't repeat, but it can often rhyme. Let's see. Delta Air. Yes. Waiting for that. We're not there yet, guys. We're not there yet, but I want it. 44.49 for the break. Then we can play the 47.30 calls. 47 calls to 48 calls. Yeah, Citibank. Listen, Citibank hit my target, hit my alert. I'm ready for it. The problem is there's no volume. Can you believe it? There's no volume for those 60s. So we're just going to have to wait on Citibank. I have Bank of America calls, and I'm just still waiting for 36.47 to break. It's been chopping around. Had a nice pop yesterday, but still looking great for more upside on Bank of America. To me, it's just inevitable at this point. We're really just waiting. So there we are. All right, guys. We'll leave it there. Let's see what the Fed does today. Again, the expectation is no action, and maybe the higher for longer, quote unquote, from Powell may spook markets. But yesterday the markets were spooked and they kept buying. So I still, in my opinion, I think we go higher. I don't know what Powell will say to make that happen, but the market's all about reaction. So who knows? We'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your morning. I have one more. AMD, sorry. Sorry. I need your advice on shares and calls. Shoot. What is your question, sir, on AMD? If it's regarding shares, and the question is, should I close? I always say absolutely. If you have to ask, close. Always. Take your money, move on. Stocks are not worth the headache. Trust me. I've been doing this a long time. Do not lose sleep over stocks. They're pieces of paper. If you don't like it, get rid of it. Very simple. Treat it like a Tinder date. Get rid of it. 176.81, that 50-day moving average right there for that bounce. That's what we're looking for that break. And then you're looking for the gap fill here at 188.05. So AMD looks like it's ready for a bounce here. For more upside on the daily anyways. Just need to hold that level, 177.17. All right, guys, have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers all.